This is Lee. You have made extraordinary progress on your own without being a politician. Why would you want to go to Congress and deal with the gridlock?
I've been married for 23 years. And the person who had the #1 idea, who said, if you're going to run for office, you should run for Congress, was my husband. So maybe he's sending me a message. Listen, a lot of my work has been about providing kids with opportunity through education. From the minute I hit the ground in Nevada, my background's in public management. I've been working at that. And what I'm finding with the work I do, especially with communities and schools, which really focuses on the barriers that poverty presents to families in our community, is that our families are breaking down. And we are not offering a middle class with a pathway to actually even to be in the middle class, let alone remain there. And these are issues that again and again emanate from Washington, D.C. And like I said, I feel that the Congress that we have, especially led by Crescent Hardy, who not only doesn't think we should increase the minimum wage, she doesn't think we should have a minimum wage at all. He wants to privatize Social Security and Medicare. And so these are issues that are key to the strength of our community and our families. And, I have a background in bringing people together and getting things done, and that's the type of leadership we need in D.C.
Good evening, John. I wrote a story recently about the Crescent Hardy's re-election chances, and the state party for the Democrats said in part, quote unquote, Congressman Crescent Hardy has the wrong priorities and his record reflects how out of touch his extreme agenda is with the people he's supposed to represent. Give me an example, one specific instance in which you feel like he has failed to represent the people he is supposed to represent.
Sure. Thanks for the question. Look, you need not look at his record. You can look at his voting record, and that's simple. Whether we're talking about things like Planned Parenthood, whether we're talking about issues with our public land, which I know is important to folks in this area, he votes the wrong way on those issues. But he also says some pretty egregious stuff. He talks about disabled folks being a drain on society. That's just 180 degrees from where I'm at. I served with Crescent Hardy in the legislature, and I can tell you 9 times out of 10, we were on the exact opposite side of most votes and most items. Whether it came to funding our education system, our criminal justice system, he was exactly 100% opposite. So I think the statement by the party, I can just hand the mic here. Here's Marla Turner. The statement by the Democratic Party is right on the mark. His priorities are completely opposite of what this district are. Remember, I told you this is a diverse district. This is a district that you have to actually get out there and listen to folks, because it's so diverse, both ethnically, economically, and in all ways. So I don't think he's representing it well.
Okay, John, and maybe you can start with Ruben so you have somebody different to ask a question to.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Ruben and we'll do that rotation. Concerning the shipment of nuclear waste to Yucca Mountain, Crescent Hardy, his name keeps coming up, said, I don't think there's a better place for it. What's your opinion?
Well, Crescent Hardy is wrong on almost every issue. I think on many issues, there couldn't be a more stark contrast between Crescent Hardy and myself. And I'm sure all my colleagues here on the panel. On Yucca Mountain, though, particularly, he has talked about negotiating. He has talked about negotiating with the government to be able to bring other states' nuclear waste to the state of Nevada, to your backyard. Not only am I against bringing nuclear waste to the state of Nevada, I will fight tooth and nail when I get to Congress to make sure that we continue the work that Senator Reid started. As the majority leader, when he was the majority leader, he made everything possible to protect the state of Nevada from this nuclear waste. And I think it goes without saying that, we're trying to create jobs here in the state of Nevada. There's many other ways to do it. We started out with bringing Tesla, we bring in Faraday, and some of the other technology companies that are looking at Nevada. And so these are some of the ideas that I put forward in Carson City as a state legislator to create jobs here in the state of Nevada, not bringing nuclear waste and putting our families in jeopardy. So I agree with Congressman Hardy, and this is part of the reason why we need to take him out.
All right, Ms. Lee, would you, if elected to Congress, support efforts to close the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay? And if so, where do you think those detainees should be moved, whether to mainland United States?
Yeah, this is a tough question for sure. Listen, I support the president's efforts to close Guantanamo Bay. I think that, we obviously created it after the Iraq War to house dangerous terrorists, but we call into questions the values that are American and the treatment of the prisoners there. That being said, I do think that ultimately protecting our people, protecting the United States against terrorists is incredibly important. And we have facilities where they can be moved to. There are some people who are even American citizens that are there. And so I do think that we need to transfer them to a high security facility and allow them to be treated under the doctrine that is America, and give them due process as well, but also protect our national interests.
Speaker, as recently as last summer, you had a 93% grade from the National Rifle Association, and in December you had an epiphany after the San Bernardino tragedy. I'm wondering, why did it take you so long to come to your senses about the NRA, and you are still opposed to a ban on assault weapons? If you're real about this, why not ban assault weapons?
So, thank you for the question, Dana. I told you, I grew up in a small town. I grew up in Fallon, Nevada. It's a little different than someone who comes from a big city. I grew up with a shotgun in the back of my truck. We went duck hunting in the morning before school, and it was part of our culture. I got in a fist fight before, believe it or not, once or twice, and I never went and got that shotgun. Nobody did. We didn't act like that, but times have changed. Some very important things happened in my life. My father killed himself, and then, first he killed someone else, and then he killed himself. He was a serial domestic batterer. He shouldn't have had a gun. That's one thing that happened in my life. Then, just before Thanksgiving, my best friend from high school killed himself with a gun. He had a history of mental illness. He shouldn't have had a gun. So things happen in people's lives where they say, I gotta stand up and do something. I'm a law-abiding gun owner, and I have some common sense. And those things, mental illness, the ability to get, if you can't get on a plane, domestic batters, those people shouldn't have guns. And so those things happened in my life, Dana, and I said I had to stand up because the NRA has a stranglehold on Congress. We can't even pass common sense things like those, and I'm out of time.